What's happening to so-called Dr. Cheyenne Bryant right now is an abject lesson in the fact that cute women really do believe that they are so privileged they can literally get away with anything. And Cheyenne Bryant is out to prove that. Well, as most folks are aware here, the world began asking questions a while ago, and Dr. Bryant went on the Breakfast Club. It did not answer any questions. As a matter of fact, she refused to answer any questions. She just said, I've got my doctorate and y'all just need to accept that. So needless to say, this is one of the most epic face plants, although in the internet age, seems like you have a new one every week there. In case you're wondering, TMZ is talking about it, which means you have gone global in the worst ways. Essence is talking about it. Bossip is talking about it. So yes, the chick who was the belle of the ball is now getting balled out by everybody. All right, I'm not going to be on this terribly long tonight, but there are a few things in particular that I do want to touch on here and that I do want to go ahead and speak on. First of all, I have told you all for years about these chicks, these females with big eyes. What? Told you now for decades about these females with big eyes and what that means. So no, it is not a stereotype. It is simply a fact of life. Got big eyes, it'll be big trouble. Dr. Bryant knew what she had. She knows what she has. Dr. Bryant has been using that because she understands some fundamental truths. She understands that the world doesn't listen to ugly people. The world listens to cute people. The world will give the benefit of the doubt to cute people. So the problem is that all these women who actually do have doctorates are ignored because men take a look at them and say, hey, if I listen to you, I'm going to end up with someone like you, and that's not the plan. So they listen to Cheyenne Bryant because, well, if I listen to her, maybe end up with someone like her, even though she is just babbling. Complete and utter psychobabble. But she's also proof of why it is that females have to lie. Well, should I say so-called cute females have to lie. Not the real thing there. They're looking to leverage what they got. Okay, in the system of free enterprise, I understand that. But once you start becoming a liar, there's where the problem comes in, because eventually you're going to have to prove that what you're saying is real. People are not going to be buying just a sales pitch. At some point, it can't be sizzle. It has to be steak. And people are going to want to know, where's the product? And Cheyenne Bryant has failed to be able to do that because there was no product. Well, she was the product. She was the product. And the real shame of all this is she didn't really have to lie about that. She could have just been honest and just said, hey, I'm a cute chick here. But she's not just lying about school credentials. No, she's not just lying about school credentials, because you see, everything where Cheyenne Bryant is concerned is a facsimile. It's a composite. Cheyenne Bryant, in my opinion, doesn't like men. She likes women. As a matter of fact, you take a look on your screen here. I think there's some circumstantial evidence. So Dr. Bryant, if you ever do get your doctorate, you might want to study about some of these other things there, because you can't keep that up forever. I know it seems like you can, but in reality, you can't really keep that stuff up forever. You can't. The real thing is going to come out because it has to. The real thing is going to surface because it must. And when it does, you'll be left in the unenviable position of having to explain a number of things. You didn't really think you had to go to school because you told yourself that you were smart enough already, that was beneath you. Other people should have to go to school. Other people should have to finish that. You're too good for that. You should be able to get by on your street smarts to the extent that you have any. You should be able to get by on the fact that you think you know people better than they know themselves. When in reality, she's a very cute stud, is what she is. She's a little cute stud. Men are not her thing, but she thinks she's smarter than men. She tells herself she's smarter than men, even though it is men who were ultimately her undoing by sussing out her lack of credentials. So that's what happens when you're filled with arrogance and narcissism. She has a contempt for men. So you see, when you have a contempt for them, you have to prove that that contempt is valid. So she started telling herself that she was smarter than men. All I have to do is go flop my breasts out, and that shows how dumb men are. That men are very easily led, very easily dominated. That's what she wanted to believe. She wanted to believe that. Everything else was simply an obstacle in her way. And that's how we get here. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant sounds like a highfalutin name, but in reality, it's just a product. It's a product that once she started getting attention, she was incapable of maintaining discipline for. Once she started getting attention, you would have figured that she'd ease back, but you see, that's not the way that works. When you're doing a smash and grab, you got to grab everything you can as quickly as you can. And once that has to get set off there, you're going to have to grab as much stuff out of the store as you can and run out as quickly as you can before everybody figures out that you don't have any money to pay for anything. She wanted to prove something. You see, when you are the undoctor, Cheyenne Bryant is what happens when you tell yourself that you're a smart woman. Not when you're actually a smart one, just when you tell yourself you are. She feels like she had a whole lot of pressure put on her, a lot of pressure that she was completely and thoroughly incapable of being able to satisfy. She wanted to believe that she was a smart black female. She wanted to believe that. She tells herself that she is, but she's unwilling to do the work. And because she's unwilling to do the work, now you just crash and burn. You were in trouble, Cheyenne, when you talked to Cam Newton. You were in trouble right then, right there. It was your public debut, and it went horrendously. That was when people started asking questions. They weren't asking questions before. They were asking questions afterward. And what you told yourself is that you were cute enough in your implants or whatever, your BBL or whatever. You told yourself that that would camouflage all of your shortcomings. That men are stupid and easily led, and females are gullible and easily fooled. That's what you told yourself. And if you're all getting shades of Derek Jackson off of her, well, you wouldn't be too far from the truth. In this internet era here, that's exactly what you have. You have a bunch of individuals looking to see if they can grab whatever they can get, however they can get it. And they have utter contempt for everyone around them. They tell themselves they're the smartest people in the room. They tell themselves that the rest of you are morons, dumb, idiots, gullible, silly, stupid, easily fooled. They want to believe that because they're trying to get away with something. They tell themselves that you're not smart enough to ask the right questions. Hell, if you're men, you'll just take a look at the color of her skin and the size of her breasts, and all your questions have been answered. And just to show you how smart she isn't, she didn't realize that that's exactly what didn't happen. Everything that she was counting on not to occur, that's exactly what occurred. Right down the line. She was unable and incapable of proving anything. She told herself, don't worry, I'm so cute that will leave them mesmerized and distracted. And that's exactly what didn't occur. When you've been living your life as long as she has, she's not terribly old, but when you're living your life as long as she has, attempting to pull off this fraud, this is what you end up with. You end up here. You end up in a situation where you need these facsimiles to be real. You just need people not to press on it and push on it. Because if they do, it's going to fall apart. She is indicative. The real reason why a lot of women are turning on her right now is because they see a lot of themselves in her. What? And that's the truth. This will be the next fight that she's going to have with people. That you're jealous, that you're haters. Because the truth of the matter is that so many females today suffer from Cheyenne Bryant disease. They want to be thought of as smart. They want to be thought of as capable. They tell themselves, maybe when they were kids, maybe they were articulate, maybe they were bookworms. They get caught off in a whole lot of Dianetics and Scientology and reading, and they tell themselves that that's their value. The interviews that Dr. Bryant has had, the non-doctor has had about her book, the book is complete psychobabble. It's Oprah Winfrey to the fifth power. There's nothing logical in there whatsoever. It's not meant to be logical. The people that she's attempting to appeal to, it's just meant to throw a whole bunch of words at you. It will work for her because even if she doesn't like men, she knows that she has something that appeals to men. Most females don't. And because most females don't even have bait, nothing will work for them. So if you start assuming that it is her advice that's working, that's wrong. It's her BBL and liposuction or whatever else, Ozempic or whatever else is working. Well, that's what's doing it. That's what's doing it. So the females need to understand that there's a lot of you in her. Cheyenne Bryant wants to be appreciated for knowledge that she hasn't earned and doesn't really have. She wants to be appreciated for that. She doesn't want to be appreciated for having it. She wants to be appreciated for saying she has it. She doesn't want to actually do the work. She wants to bandy around degrees or papers that they don't have. Some of you do have them. And you want to get credit for that. You don't want to get credit for practical, actionable knowledge and information. You want to get credit for degrees. You want to get credit for third-party acknowledgement. She understood this, and she understood that if she could make it far enough, it wouldn't matter. The truth of the matter is that Dr. Bryant, the non-doctor, doesn't know men. Hell, she doesn't know women. She doesn't know any of those things. What she does know is to just keep it going as long as you can. She does know that. She knows keep it going as long as you can. Keep it running. Keep the clock going as long as you can. And the truth of the matter is that's most females today. Most females today, particularly most black women. You see a lot of yourself in Cheyenne Bryant. You see a lot of yourself in her because you can see the condescension. You can see the down talking. You can see that. A lot of women like the fact that she seems like she's got bait to lure men in, and then bammo, she's going to smack you over the head once you get there. You want to get credit for credentials. You want to talk about how smart you are. You want to talk about those things without proving anything. That's the problem. You want to get credit for brains that you can't actually put into real world practice. Then you want to get wildly rewarded for it. There's the other part of it. I put up a post on Facebook where I said that most women today want to be Jamarcus Russell. For those of you who don't know, Jamarcus Russell is widely considered, if not the biggest, the second biggest bust in NFL history. Tens of millions of dollars went to the Raiders and the money went straight down the drain. And that's what most women want to be today. They want to come in, get a huge front-loaded paycheck up front, grab a bunch of rewards and benefits, and then bolt out the door before anything's actually been earned. And that's the reality. But what happens when folks kick the tires and check to see what you have? This idea that you're going to tell people you're smart, tell people you're capable, tell yourself that you are, and that no one's ever going to actually test it. That's how you end up here. Dr. Bryant, with her wonderfully placed tattoo down near her pelvis, by the way, as you can see there. Yeah, she's coming across more like a booty model. So you see, this is like the female equivalent of the pimp pastors. The pimp pastors who are obviously not interested in the word of the Bible, they're selling something else. And Dr. Bryant, when she actually had to face the world, the non-Dr. Bryant, showed that, by the way, she's trying to sell something else. What she's finding out the hard way is a lesson that I hope most people, particularly women, understand. The men are not as dumb as you wish they were. They're not as easily distracted as you wish. Please understand, it's not men who are listening to her. It's not men who are reposting clips from her. Women are. Men aren't. Men aren't reposting anything from her. There's nothing to learn. That's the point. She doesn't have anything to teach you. She can complain, but she doesn't have that. So I'd like to make a piece of advice to Cheyenne Bryant tonight. Cheyenne Bryant, the jig is up. The jig is up. The roost is done. Everyone sees what's happening. Everyone sees what's going on. What the game you were running was the reason you made it this far, and it's the reason that you'll make it no farther. So what I suggest you do is you get your best G-string thong and slingshot, and I suggest you start being an honest hoe.
What? Damn!
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that you recognize what's going on, and when it's time to pivot, stop trying to tell yourself you're smarter than you are, and certainly stop telling yourself the world is dumber than it is. And it's time for you to just go ahead and be an honest hoe. Hang up the fake credentials, hang up the fake doctorate, hang up the fake cap and gown. It's time to go ahead and be an honest hoe. You need to do that. Because no one's going to come to you for your academic expertise anymore. You don't have it. Can't really talk to you about the streets anymore. You don't have that either. I recommend that you just be honest and let folks know, hey, you are at least biracial and probably lesbian. And that's the perspective that you're coming at it with. And let's have that conversation. Why don't you have that conversation with men about how they can get a female like you? Because there's plenty of guys who want to be in bed with a chick who knows how to get other folks in bed with them. So I would recommend you do that one instead. Because that's something you can actually do. And that's something you can actually maintain. See, we don't need an era of dishonest hoes. It's time for us to have some honest ones. We can respect that, Cheyenne. We could respect you just being honest. That's something you can actually ride out on. Let the fellas know about that. She likes to use some vulgar language and whatnot. That's a common trope that sexually questionable females try to do to cover their tracks, but that's not going to work for you either. What you need to do is go ahead and be honest about where you really are and what you really do and what you really mean. We can live with that. We can take that. We can respect an honest hoe. What we can't respect is a dishonest one. We can respect an honest thought. What we can't respect is a dishonest one who insults our intelligence, which is what you're currently in the process of doing, is insulting the intelligence of the world. So, Cheyenne, let's have a real conversation. After all, getting that next BBL lift ain't gonna pay for itself.
Damn!
It's not gonna finance itself. So, let's have a real conversation about the real Cheyenne Bryant. A female who doesn't really dig men like that, but she knows how to at least tell some folks how to physically appeal. Okay, you can do that. But you're done giving advice. You're done being an authority. You're done pretending that you know something academically that other women don't. And not because I say so, it's the women who are done with you, which is the other part of the equation. They most likely suspected something was wrong the whole time, and now the other shoe is dropped. So you can keep walking if you'd like to. I promise you it won't get easier. It will not get easier. I'm not here to stomp all over you. We're not going to do that. We're not going to stomp all over you. What we are going to do here is say, going forward, This is the generation for honest hoes. Let's have some honest conversations with some honest hoes for a change. And to all the women out there, you want to dazzle a man? Show him you can start coaching here to be smarter than what you want to prove you're smarter than him? Show you can turn $1 into $2. Try that one. That can prove something for you.